Okay, I think everyone who is online in the Zoom meeting room now can both see and hear me right now. So I'd like to say to both all of you who are joining online and all of you who are joining offline, a warm welcome to today's workshop on green and circular economy in China. Today's event is organized by the EU SME Centre. The EU SME Centre was a project funded by the European Union, started 10 years ago and is currently operating in its third phase. Today's event is also organized by one of the implementing partners of the EU SME Centre, which is the Danish Chamber of Commerce. And who am I? I am Nikolaj Lundsbjerg. I am the General Manager of the Danish Chamber of Commerce. So I'd also like to say welcome to all of you, both offline and online. The event today is also organized by the Republic of Slovenia here in China and the China IPR SME Helpdesk. So on behalf of all of those organizations that I just mentioned, once again, a warm welcome. I will say that today's workshop, we have quite a lot to go through. We have a lot of speakers, so I will not be saying a lot more here introductory wise, only say one thing, that for questions, we'll be taking all of the questions at the end of today's workshop, if time allows. So we will try to stick to the time that we have for everyone, for all the speakers, and then we'll hope to go through all of the questions at the end of the seminar. So without further ado, this is the agenda. As I mentioned, we have a lot to go through. So I will not be saying much more now, but I would like to welcome here Her Excellency Alenka Suhadolnik, the Ambassador of Slovenia here in China, to welcome with a few welcoming remarks.
Thank you. Dear speakers and participants of the live event in Beijing, dear online participants in Europe and China, warm welcome at today's event on green and circular economy. This weekend, we marked 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement adopted by 196 parties at COP21 in Paris on 12th of December 2015. During the past 5 years, the determination of the international community to deal with climate change has certainly been tested. But it looks like that the present global health crisis strengthened the resolve of the international community in working towards a safer, more resilient world with net zero emissions. Even before the pandemic, the EU committed to green transition, and in December 2019, the EU launched the European Green Deal. On 22nd of September this year, at the 75th session of the UN General Assembly, President Xi of the People's Republic of China announced that China aims to have CO2 emissions peak before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. Last Saturday, at the Climate Ambition Summit, President Xi announced additional commitments for 2030. So it could not be a better day for our Green and Circular Economy in China workshop. Embassy of Slovenia, as the initiator of today's event, partnered with the EU SME Centre, the Danish Chamber of Commerce, and IPR Helpdesk to organize it. The workshop will provide an overview of the opportunities for international cooperation within European Green Deal, an overview of green and circular economy sector in China, its priorities for the 14th five-year plan period, the main challenges that European companies face in the sector, both from a business perspective and from IPR perspective. Several case studies will also be presented, illustrating insights and recommendations from practical experience of doing business in China in the field of green and circular economy, along with good practices and lessons learned on the European side. I wish today's event a great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening remark. And then next on the program, we have Mr. Wang Xin. Wang Xin, he is the Chief Specialist of Foreign Environmental Cooperation Center, and he would also like to give us a few welcoming remarks. So please welcome.
Thank you, Chair. So, good afternoon, everybody. I have to speak Chinese. I'm very sorry. 尊敬的素海兰大使，波托奇尼克先生，女士们、先生们、朋友们。
Your Excellency, Ambassador Alenka, Your Excellency, Ambassador General, respected Mr. Potocnik, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon.
很荣幸受邀参加此次中国绿色及循环经济线上研讨会。我来自生态环境部对外合作与交流中心，很高兴借此聚会与各位就绿色及循环经济主题进行交流。
It's my great pleasure to be invited to be a part of this session to talk about green development and circular economy in China. And I'm from the Ministry of Environment and Ecology. And on behalf of the International Department, I want to say thank you for this great opportunity to communicate with all of you about green development and the circular economy.
当前世界各国都在致力于抗击新冠肺炎疫情，推动经济高质量复苏。今天我们共同探讨绿色及循环经济这一主题，对后疫情时代低碳转型、加快绿色环保等产业发展，促进经济社会发展。全面绿色转型具有非常重要的意义。
At this very moment, the whole world is committed to fighting against COVID-19 and boosting our economic recovery in a high-quality way. Today, we are gathering here to discuss green development and the circular economy, which is of great significance to the low-carbon transformation in the post-pandemic era. At the same time, our discussion here can also boost green environmental industry development, as well as the green transformation of our economy and society.
正像刚才苏兰大使讲的，习近平主席在今年9月宣布，中国将提高国家自主贡献力度，采取更加有力的政策和措施，力争2030年前二氧化碳排放达到峰值，努力争取2060年前实现碳中和。刚刚结束的气候雄心峰会上，习总书记进一步宣布，到2030年，中国单位国内生产总值二氧化碳排放将比2005年下降65%以上，非化石能源占一次能源消费比重将达到25%左右，森林蓄积量将比2005年增加60亿立方米，风电、太阳能发电总装机容量将达到12亿千瓦以上。
As Ambassador Alenka has mentioned just now, President Xi has announced that in September this year, China will highlight the importance of national innovation in terms of the contribution to our GDP. And China will also adopt vigorous measures and policies to achieve the peak of CO2 emission by 2030. And we'll also try to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. In the just concluded Climate Ambition Summit, President Xi has also announced that by 2030, the per unit GDP of CO2 emission will also be lower by over 65% compared with that of 2005. The ratio of non-fossil fuel to the primary energy source consumption will also be over 25%. And the forest stock volume will also be increased by 6 billion cubic meters compared with that of 2005. The total installed capacity of the wind power and solar power will hit about 1.2 billion kilowatts.
欧盟也正在积极实施绿色新政，今年3月发布新循环经济行动计划。中欧双方都坚持绿色低碳循环经济循环发展道路，在应对气候变化、实现绿色低碳高质量发展方面具有非常大的合作潜力，也有互补的市场。
EU is also vigorously promoting the green development policies and strategies as well. In March this year, EU has put in place the new Circular Economy Action Plan. China and EU have also followed the path of green development, low carbon and circular development. In the fight against climate change And in the efforts to achieve low carbon and high quality and green development, China and the EU have great potential to work with each other and complement each other's strengths.
今年9月，习近平主席同德国、欧盟领导人共同举行会晤，决定建立中欧环境与气候高层对话，打造中欧绿色合作伙伴关系。2018年9月，首次中东欧国家环境合作部长级会议在黑山举行，正式建立17+1环境合作机制。以上机制将为推进中欧生态环境合作提供有力的支持与保障。双方可以借鉴上述合作平台，共同推进环保技术及环保产业合作项目，创造绿色经济增长点。
In September this year, President Xi Jinping has also discussed with the high-level leaders from EU in terms of establishing the China-EU high-end environment and climate dialogue mechanism and create China-EU Green Partnership. In September 2018, the very first China Mid-East Europe national level environmental cooperation ministerial level conference has been hosted in Montenegro. And we have officially established the 17+1 environmental cooperation mechanism as well. All of these mechanisms will serve as a major guarantee and support for the China-EU ecological and environmental cooperation. I believe both sides can draw upon strengths from the previous platforms we have mentioned earlier, and we can also join hands to promote the environmental technology and environmental industry in different cooperation areas and create the new pillar of green economy growth.
欧盟以及斯洛文尼亚、芬兰和丹麦等国家在生态环境保护领域有着非常好的经验与技术。我了解到，斯洛文尼亚2017年城市垃圾回收率已达到58%，优于欧盟平均值。我们愿意与欧洲各国相关部门及机构在绿色及循环经济领域开展深入交流与合作，学习借鉴欧方的绿色发展理念，支持中国的绿色低碳循环发展。明年将召开生物多样性 COP15 和气候变化 COP26 大会，而斯洛文尼亚明年下半年将担任欧盟轮值主席国。我们希望借此契机共同推动中欧绿色合作伙伴关系，17+1环境合作向前发展，共同建设清洁美丽世界。
EU and Slovenia, Finland, and Denmark have become the world leader in terms of environmental protection and ecological development. You have the top-notch experience and expertise as well. I have learned that as early as in 2017, the urban trash recovery rate in Slovenia has hit about 58%, higher above the average of EU. We are willing to work with relevant institutions and agencies from EU as well to discuss with each other about how to deepen our cooperation in green and circular economy as well. We need to learn from the European counterparts in terms of your green development concept. In this way, we can support the green, low carbon, and circular development here in China. Next year, I believe we'll host the biodiversity COP15 and the climate change COP26 conferences. And Slovenia will take the rotating presidency of EU as well. We hope that on this occasion and taking these opportunities, China and EU can jointly promote the Sino-EU Green Partnership as well as moving forward the 17+1 environmental cooperation mechanism. In this way, we can join hands to build a cleaner and more fabulous world.
最后，预祝研讨会取得圆满成功，谢谢。
Last but not least, I wish this seminar a full success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Mr. Wang as well for the introducing remarks and all the nice comments. So that was the last of our opening remarks, and we will now be heading over to our second part. And for our second part, I can see that we have now Mr. Yanis Potočnik ready. So I will just stop sharing here, and then Mr. Yanis will be sharing his slides.